It is 9 degrees out here this morning, and I'm at where people have turned around, and I just don't have time to blaze trail this morning, so it's going to be a little bit shorter of a video than usual.
And I know that everybody's dreaming. They grow like titans, or it seems. And I know I must be planted for a reason.
I wanted to talk about a concept today that I've thought about recently, and to put it simply, it's the idea that we are only going to hear something or learn something when we're ready. Have you ever read a book more than once, and when you went back and read it the second time or the third time, and there was some space in between, it was almost as if you were reading a completely different book? For me, that happened not that long ago. I read The Alchemist 10 years ago, somewhere around there. Anyways, I read it again probably a year ago. I remember wondering why I didn't get anything from it the first time. I read it the first time, I was like, what's the big deal? Like, why does anyone like this book? And I read it the second time, and it was borderline life-changing. And what I think it boils down to is that a lot of the concepts in that book, The Alchemist, they can be paradigm shifting. It can potentially push you into ontological shock, a concept that we've talked about recently. And so I think our brains have certain mechanisms, certain neurological responses to information to protect us from emotional and mental turmoil. Because, and I think that confirmation bias is even a part of this neurological response, that learning new information, going into ontological shock, is not optimal for people that are in survival. And so I look at certain people that I've talked to about concepts, whether that's free will, subjective or objective truth, or morality, subjective or objective morality, and these concepts that are deep but also paradigm shifting, and it's like they cannot even get there to even talk about it or think about it. And so I've often wondered, like, what's going on, and I think it's because their body, their brain, might know or be predicting or guessing that if they went down that road, if they took that step, that it would not be good for their emotional and mental health. And it could potentially cause them to step into nihilism and a complete ontological collapse, and they could lose their job, lose their family, be kicked out of their tribe, whatever. The thing is, though, is I think for the vast majority of us, I think that confirmation bias, this inability that we have to confront the difficult truths, the uncomfortable truths, I think that inability to do that has outlived its utility. That time of survival, the time of wondering whether or not you're going to get your next meal, or if you're going to die, that time's pretty much gone. Sure, there are people in this world, and I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege, because I am not in survival mode. But I think most people aren't. There are people that should not be looking into these difficult topics because it's not mentally good for them. But I think the vast majority of us, this neurological response of confirmation bias and of protection against ontological shock, I think that mechanism has outlived its utility. I think it's time for us to confront those uncomfortable truths, those difficult things to hear. We need to look into those. I don't think the vast majority of us, I think the vast majority of us can handle that. And so I've been thinking about how I can do that better, because I know I can do it better. And there's two concepts that come to mind. And one of them is easy to understand. It's just curiosity, just being curious. I think if there's one thing, the more I think about this, and the more I do all of these videos, the more I think that if you are one thing in this life, be curious. The second concept is a little bit more, I guess, deep, but it's because it comes from a ancient religion. It's the Buddhist concept of beginner's mind. So if we can approach a topic with beginner's mind, that means that we are not certain, that we're leaving our preconceived notions behind, and we're setting ourselves up for learning. And I think there is a sense of humility that comes with beginner's mind. And even though I don't think we should, leave behind our hard-earned wisdom of life, but maybe being open and having that beginner's humility and openness goes a lot farther than coming in believing that you know everything already and there's nothing else on the given topic to learn. So anyways, that's just something I've been thinking about recently. I'm sorry this video is not nearly as well put together as some of my other ones. I just don't have time. But anyways, if you thought this was interesting or helpful or anything like that, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next video.
If you could be my open skies and I could be a wildflower. Yeah, I could be a wildflower.